NBA Twitter is it's what is it? It's a beast. It's just there's nothing quite like. I mean, I know there's
the most fun place on Twitter, like right. NBA Twitter is
like I know there's
the happiest place on earth. It's Disney.
Disney. People tweet in other sports. Michael Thomas is tweeting.
Yeah.
He's a current player. Antonio Brown tweets. We want to know when he's going to be back on the field, so we watch it. But when two guys who we know are not going to play basketball this year and one ever again are
correct.
tweeting, but it takes over a news cycle, it's pretty amazing. So the backstory is last week, Russell Westbrook made his much-anticipated return to Oklahoma City, and Kendrick Perkins sent out a tweet. We can throw up these tweets first, and we can go through them. So Kendrick Perkins said, "In about 30, I'm going on SportsCenter, and I'm going to explain why Russell Westbrook is the best player ever to put on an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. He is Mr. Thunder." He said, another reporter responded, "He's the best in the organization, but definitely not the best ever." Eventually, KD responded. He got a little, did what he does. I guess he got a little.
Stop.
Got on Twitter.
He got a little offended. He was a little offended.
Yeah, and our starting center, Kendrick Perkins, averaged a whopping 2 and 3 during that series. You played hard, though, champ. I thought at that point.
That's funny.
At that point, I was like, okay, KD might have him.
That's funny. But, like, here's what I'll say to that. Like,
but then Kendrick just.
I don't know if you want to do that with KP. KP's not, like, he's not laughing about that, even though it's
weakest
snarky
move in
and
NBA
funny.
history. Up on a team 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals, and then go join them. Heart of a champion. And then this is where, if we're judging it round by round, KD lost it for me.
He came out a little sluggish in this
Weakest starting at center, playing real minutes with no production. You should have worked on your skills as much as I did.
Yeah, that was he came out slow in that round.
All right, let's just unpack this real quick. I think Perk. The first things first, I think Perk won it.
Okay.
Would you agree that if we're just gauging who won the feud, Perk took it?
I think it's a draw.
Really?
I think it's a draw. That was listen, that line about like starting center, that's a low blow line. Like that's where that whole thing turned. You know what I mean? Like it was opinion. Like it was like, yo man, I had better career.
Yeah.
And then when you hit him with that's where it got personal.
It's a good point because I remember when they traded Jeff Green for Kendrick Perkins, and I was like, this might be this might be what they've been missing.
Right.
You know? And he was awful for them.
But it was never his job. Like KP's job was never to average more than, I don't know, 7 and 7.
Yeah, and he wasn't that wasn't his job.
That wasn't his job. Right.
Okay, so looking at what KP said.
Yeah.
Is Russell Westbrook the best player to ever put on a Thunder? Now, he has sort of clarified a little bit. He came out on the jump and he said, I wasn't saying he's a better player. I'm just saying he's had a better career in OKC. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
As Mr. Thunder, as he put it.
If you're asking me who's Mr. Thunder, it's definitely Russell Westbrook, right? You chose to stay. Right,
yeah,
you chose the Thunder. Like Kevin Durant
question.
chose to get up and bounce. So I don't even know that that's debatable. Like I have KD shouldn't have beef with that. You chose to leave.
Right.
So if you've had similar careers there in OKC, you both won MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
No one's won a championship. Then I don't know I don't even know how you could think that you're Mr. Thunder when you decided to get up and bounce. Now, if you're asking me purely who is a better basketball player overall that donned
it's not even a question.
And that's a different conversation.
He's probably the best player on any franchise he goes to that doesn't have LeBron James or Michael Jordan
or Kobe
or Shaq.
Yeah,
I mean, like he's
correct.
Already the best player to ever play for the Nets, and he hasn't played, right? Mm-hmm. And he's probably the best player to ever play for the Warriors. I mean, there were guys back in the day, but
didn't Will play for the Warriors? Weren't they the Philadelphia Warriors at one point? Didn't Will?
Yeah, but
I know your thing with the Wilt thing,
is he
but
better than Wilt? I mean, is Wilt better than KD?
Yeah, see, we're going to have – that's a deeper conversation.
But I think the point being that we know that pretty much any team he goes to, he's probably going to be a top 1 or 2 player ever in that organization. So then Brandon Tierney, who is a radio host, and he's on CBS Sports Network, he sent out a tweet about KD not joining the Knicks, if we could throw that up, basically saying Carmelo took a shot and you didn't.
Oh, no.
And basically crushing him for not going to the Knicks. Nothing but respect for your game, but it's simple. The Mecca had your name all over it, and you passed. I'm from BK. It's in my blood. But New York is all about the Knicks, and it'll always be. So KD, of course, it's what he does. He's on Twitter. He loves Twitter.
Yeah.
The reality is you wanted me to do what you wanted me to do, and I didn't. And now you feel some weird way about it. Get over yourself, bro. I know you got you a little platform, but come out of the clouds. It's not real.
We're talking hoops, not life. There's a difference. And so here.
Okay, so that I wanted to actually. That's something that I wanted to. I want to bring that back up in a second.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk about KD's Twitter presence. Are you? I've actually come to grips with it that I'm cool with KD being this guy that he is on Twitter.
That's what he is.
Because, like, very few people freaked out when Isaiah Thomas went into the stands.
Right.
And KD could do that.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, I'm going to keep it on Twitter, and I'm just going to go at people and, you know.
Yeah, like, why do we care? Like, ultimately, why do I care if KD likes to do that? And if he likes to do that, like, we're in a world where whatever you like to do, we afford people the opportunity to do what they like to do, right? Like, that's he likes to go on Twitter and get into beefs. Okay. Like, I don't, good for you, bro. Like,
it's weird.
I would think you got better stuff to do. But if that's what you enjoy doing, like, people enjoy just sitting there playing Fortnite or playing 2K or whatever. That man likes to be on Twitter.
That's how he unwinds.
That's what's up.
He goes on Twitter.
I'm cool with that.
He has a Twitter alert set for his name.
I'm good with that.
And every single person, whether you're famous or not, you could get it from KD.
That's right. KD is going to give it to you. I think like the Brandon Tierney thing. This bothers me. My in-laws, everybody's from New York.
Yeah.
Why is someone obligated to step into the batter's box with the Knicks?
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
Knicks
like,
people, that's just what New York's always going to be that.
Lightweight, that bothers me. Like, why there's no obligation to go step into the batter's box for the Knicks, even if it's just between the Knicks and Brooklyn. Like, people got to wrap their mind around, like, the Brooklyn thing right now. It's a hot thing. Like, it is. Like, for you know, for NBA guys, the arena and the energy that was last year and stuff like that, as opposed to the Knicks, which is like, that's like super old money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people.
And it's another totally different conversation, which is until that man is out of there, no one's going to want to play there, right? But I mean, you know what's funny is too, I saw someone tweet this the other day. Imagine if the Knicks did get KD and Kyrie, and what's going on in Brooklyn was going on in New York right now.
No, yeah.
It would be a meltdown. It would be a total meltdown. But the other tweet that they just showed, which was the
this is real life.
We're talking about hoops. This isn't real life.
Yeah.
It's a trend that I don't like, which is, and Kyrie not long ago said something in the media which was like, we're talking about basketball, we're not talking about real life. I think you sound like an entitled rich person when you say that, KD. And I'm interested in your thoughts here, because when you were playing high school ball trying to get to Texas, and when you were playing at Texas, and when you were crying in
basketball was life.
It was life. And there's a lot of people that he works with, he sees on a daily basis in the video room, in the training room, the coaches. This is life. Everything I've gotten in my adult life has been because of basketball, whether it was working for the Hornets or the Grizzlies, or even getting my job here was because I worked in the NBA in the video department and I got hired to do video here. So this trend of, we're not even talking about real life. It's not real life. It's real life. It is. There's no set. It's a bit in it, and it isn't just a game.
Yeah.
You know, it's a game. It's not just a game. It is a billion-trillion-dollar business that a lot of people's lives depend upon. Me and you right now, sitting here talking about it. If there wasn't fans and there wasn't media, you'd be playing in a rec league.
Right.
So it's just a disconcerting trend that players now are just like, we're not even talking about real life. We're talking about the game. Yeah, when you have a $200 million guaranteed contract, and if you never played again, you'd be set for life, then you can say it's just a game, but it's not.
Yeah, I've got mixed emotions, because, you know, basketball is life when you're younger and you're trying to get where you want to be, and you're trying to, you know, feed a family and hopefully, you know, better generationally what's available to your family. But then there comes a point where you do gain some perspective on it, you know, like, and sometimes it's having a kid. Sometimes it's realizing that once you get to that highest level, no matter how much they pay you, you are a commodity. Like, and just as quickly as they'd sign you, they'd move you with no, you know what I mean? Like sometimes there's some clarity and there's a perspective that's given once you're on that side of it, right? And you know, to a fan, it's hard to separate the human from the commodity, the player, the guy that represents your brand, the one that you want to see win. But at the end of the day, we're human beings. And so if you tie yourself solely to basketball, then the emotional toll that can take on you, and it's not even under your control, can be devastating. Do you know what I mean? So you have to try to separate yourself from the basketball. Like, I'm a human being. I'm a dad. Mm-hmm. I'm a husband, right? I'm a brother. I'm a uncle. Like those are real life things. Yeah. Basketball is what I do for my living. Now, I don't really love, you know, NBA players trying to. And sometimes I feel like enlighten a fan to that because they'll never see it through that lens. Never. Like they can't see it through that lens. That's your lens. Mm-hmm. But I do support NBA guys saying, "Hey, listen, this isn't all that there is to me."
But that's
like
not,
this is a big part of who I am. It's why you all love me and revere me. But it's not. It's not. So if I took my basketball home with me all the time, like I would be miserable.
Well, I've lived that life too. I was miserable in
dad, a miserable husband. Like there comes a time where NBA guy, you have to leave that there.
Listen, when we were in a 7-win season in Charlotte, I was just a video guy.
Right.
And I took it home with me every day. And I didn't even have a family. I was miserable. It sucked. It was terrible.
It doesn't mean you can't work to be better.
Totally.
But you can't live that. You have to be able
and I think fans can be, and I agree, I think fans can be totally irrational and are generally on the side of players when it comes to, you know, that, you know, fans don't really understand what players go through because you do hear a lot of, oh, if I got $10 million a year, I'd do it. But it's not that easy because anybody.
And you don't know. You don't know what you do.
But I think to your point of them putting that out there to fans, be clearer. Because when you are Kyrie or you are KD and you just say something like, this isn't real life, it's just a game, or this is just hoops, it's not real life, that's the bite that you get out there. Yeah. That's what goes out there. So it's a responsibility as that guy, I think, to not diminish it because some of these fans, their lives don't depend on it, but they do take a big chunk out of their life to support. Sure. I mean, there's a guy who spent $400 on taking his kid to a game. Probably could have used for something else. So it's just like I think it's about being more responsible as a player. If you're going to be Kevin Durant, Twitter machine, keyboard warrior, I'm actually all for it because now we get to do this and talk about it. And it's generally, it's fine. Most people is, oh, he's sensitive, he's this, he's that, whatever, cool. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I just think there's a responsibility that comes with being a star level player or even a professional athlete in general, but a star level player to not just be like, oh, it's not real. It's not, you know, this isn't real life. Because it is real life.
I mean, it is real life, but like, you know, you don't get mad at an actor or somebody like that puts out a bad movie and you know, you paid your $10 to go see the movie and the actor doesn't really give a damn because they're like, I'm going to make another one. Like you don't react that way.
Yes. No, sports are unique in that way.
They are. And so while I agree with you, there is a responsibility to not rub someone's nose in it. Like, you know what I mean? I do think it's fair for an athlete to say, listen, might be your life, right? But mine's bigger than this. Like this is my job, and I will do everything that I can do to compete and win while I'm here in Brooklyn or wherever else I am. Mm-hmm. Like that's my job, but it ain't my life. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's fair, and I think fans need to know that.
But see, not my whole life. See, you get the.
But it's not my life. It's not my life. It's not my life, Joe. No, this is where we'll disagree. It's not my life. It's a part of my life.
Right.
Right.
So it's not your whole life.
But I mean. Who would like your life is like your very being. Like basketball, like basketball should never be anyone's life. The same way this shouldn't be.
Maybe,
your life.
But it provides your whole life. I mean, there's a lot of things in your life that would be different if there was no basketball.
That's another conversation, though.
But it's all kind of linked.
But just because I've become one of the best players on the planet doesn't mean that I am like beholden to this basketball thing. Like I have now reached a point where I can be maybe a little bit more enlightened, have a different perspective. And so while you want me to just exist as this player who only cares about this, that's not who I am.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think that's fair too.
That's fair.
You know,
that's totally fair. I think. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it kind of. And maybe it's just a KD Kyrie thing because I don't know that there's a ton of other players that say
they both come off very like flippant about it. Like I think it's the dismissive nature with which they come across that rubs people the wrong way. And I think that's a fair point by you too. Like there's no everybody knows you got other stuff going on, right? You don't need to rub anyone's nose in.
When you start saying it's just basketball, it's not real life, it rubs you. It can rub you the wrong way a little bit. And that was the one tweet in the whole thing. Whoever, regardless of whoever won or lost, I saw that and I was just like, "Come on, man! Why does it have to be
just
like
the one that's like it's like the old was that Dave Chappelle? He was a habitual line stepper.
Oh, he's a habitual. KD's a habitual line stepper. As soon as he engages on Twitter with anybody, he's a habitual.
We also have to take into account that these guys are not my generation or the generation before me, a player where you had basketball and that's really it. These guys they have media empires. Like they have production companies. Like, you know, Kevin Durant, you know, out there in Silicon Valley was doing whatever he was doing with venture capitalism and, you know, and Andre Iguodala and those guys, like they are bigger than you know, it's not just about basketball for them. Right. Basketball was a means to an end, but their interests often lie in other places. And, you know, that's sometimes a hard pill for people to swallow too, but it's facts.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the one lesson out of all this is be careful starting a Twitter feud with Perk. I mean, Perk, be careful what you say. And then KD.
Listen,
actually,
if Perk, you know Perk, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, Perk, you can say whatever you want. Who am I to tell Perk what to say? But you may maybe like stick to engaging with like the fans and not Perk. I don't know.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.